Good morning, friends. Welcome to Business Analysis Chronicle, a weekly webinar. This week, we are going to discuss the topic Business Model Canvas. I'm your host, Venkatesh Narayanan. So, a few points about the webinar series. The webinar series is titled Business Analysis Chronicle, and this is a weekly webinar. Every week, we'll be talking about one of the business analysis concepts, tools, and techniques. And this webinar duration is 30 minutes. 25 minutes we'll be dedicating to the topic and 5 minutes for the Q&A and others. And during the course of this webinar, you will be coming across surveys or polls. Please participate in this. This will help us to better design this webinar series and also kind of like improve upon. And on the right hand side, within the GoToWebinar panel, you will find a section titled Handouts, where you can download this presentation for your future reference. And this webinar is brought to you by Physics Business Consultants. Physics specializes in business analysis, supply chain management, and new product development. And we provide consulting and certification services. And one such certification is the BCS Foundation Certificate in Business Analysis, one of the best business analysis certification in the market. So let us get started. So why business model canvas? Who are all the people using this? The thing is, like, when you say business model canvas, this is of interest to 2-3 people. Number one, entrepreneurs. Whenever they want to start a new business, they need to visualize how this business is, how this business will be, and how the various components of the business will be working together. That is, putting a business on a piece of paper, visualizing the business. So the business model canvas, the primary purpose is to help the entrepreneurs to visualize the business. So this is about whenever somebody starts a new business. But the purpose of this doesn't stop there. Even when you have your existing business, because business is not something static, the business constantly changes. It is dynamic in nature. And you know, as the time progresses, the amount of disruption we are coming across in terms of business is gradually increasing. It is not kind of like a static one or a kind of like a stable one. No, that the amount of disruption or the frequency of disruption, both are constantly changing. So the business model canvas becomes more and more important among the business owners. So number one, we said entrepreneurs, and second, the business owners, and third, business analysts and consultants who want to help the companies, or helping the companies to improve upon the business model and to innovate the business model. Business model canvas is a great tool. And from this point, we can say that business model canvas is a strategic tool. It is not tactical, it is not operational, right? Business model canvas is a tactical, it is not a tactical or operational one, it is a strategic one, right? So with this understanding, let us take a quick poll so that like I can better understand the participants' proficiency level. So here there is a poll. What is your proficiency level in business model canvas? Okay, I have launched the poll. Please participate. This will help us to kind of like help me to tailor this in alignment with your existing knowledge. Okay, perfect. So I'm closing the poll. The voting is still going on. Okay, please make it fast. This will help me to understand. Okay, perfect. So let us continue. So the next thing is, let us understand this part. So let us understand this diagram. Any organization is made up of capabilities, and the capabilities are kind of like a set of requirements. In other words, a group of requirements will form a capability. A group of capabilities will form an organization, right? A group of requirements form a capability, and a group of capabilities make an organization. And process helps us to do the capability in a structured manner. Okay, we will define all these things in the coming slides. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. That is kind of like because if you want to visualize all these things, you cannot do any other way than a business model canvas. The business model canvas will help you to put the things on a piece of paper and analyze these things in a better manner. You can have an organization view. You can find out what are all the capabilities required and how different requirements will shape up this capability, and how kind of like what are the different processes needed to kind of like to synchronize these capabilities or to deliver these capabilities in a structured manner, right? So now let us define the organization. Okay, we need to understand these four terms in a proper manner before we move on to the business model canvas. So now here, if you take any management books in the past, you would have came across a definition that an organization is a group of people working towards a common goal to deliver products and services to the customers, right? This is the way we define the organization in management books. An organization is a group of people working together to achieve a common goal to deliver products and services to the customers, right? But as a business analyst or a business consultant, we are looking at the organization little different. An organization is an amalgamation of capabilities. An organization is an amalgamation of capabilities. In the sense, amalgamation means kind of like a put together. So many capabilities are put together to make an organization. See, a physicist view of the world, physicist, right? You know, kind of like not a physician, right? Physicist means somebody is an expert in physics, right? So a physicist view of an organization, he will see the entire world as full of atoms. The whole world, the whole universe is made up of atoms. That is the way a physicist will say. But the business analyst view of the world is the whole world is made up of capabilities. So here we need to understand the difference between capacity and capability. Capability is an ability to do certain things, right? Capability is an ability to do certain things. Capacity is the quantification of this capability, right? So capacity is a quantification, the rate of delivering that capability. For example, see, like I'm saying that I'm able to lift some 50 kg, and there may be several people will claim that they are able to lift 50 kg. But then what is the difference between my capability and a bodybuilder's capability? Both are having a bodybuilder standing next to me. I am able to lift 50 kg. He is also able to lift 50 kg. Okay. Kind of like what is the huge difference? But the capacity is different. I may be able to lift 10 times. I may be able to lift and lower 10 times in 1 hour. But the bodybuilder could be able to do 100 times in 1 hour, the same time. So the capability, though the capability is same in this particular context, okay, though the capability is same, the capacity is completely different. So that is the reason we are saying capacity is the quantification of the capability. In the absence of capability, we don't have something called the capacity, right? So all organizations are having capabilities and adequate capacities, right? That makes the organization a larger or smaller organization. But capability is that is defining the organization, what they are capable of, right? So here what we are saying is the business analyst world, the business analyst view of the world, right? As a business analyst or business consultant, we see the world is full of capabilities. And any organization is an amalgamation of capabilities. These capabilities are stitched together to deliver capabilities. Here you need to understand something very clearly. Whenever you buy a product or a service, what actually you are buying? You are buying certain capabilities, right? Whenever you are buying a product or a service, when you kind of like get a haircut, you are buying a service. You are buying a capability of good look. You are buying a capability of looking like a professional. And you are buying a television for your home. You are buying a capability to view the programs that is telecasted by the television stations. So whenever we buy a product or service, actually we are buying capabilities. That is the reason I say the business analyst world view is the world is full of capabilities. Whether it is an organization or people, the product, services, whatever you see, it is kind of like it is capabilities. So we are living kind of like this material world, right? It is full of capabilities, right? The organization is made up of amalgamation of capabilities. What are all those? It is basically, if you see the diagram on the right side, it is people, process, and systems. I'm just made it abbreviated, otherwise it is not readable. So it is like the three things are people capabilities, process capabilities, and system capabilities. You take any organization, it is an amalgamation of people, process, and system capabilities. That's it. So as a business analyst, what we are doing whenever we are designing an organization, or whenever we are improving an organization, or whenever we are solving a problem in an organization, actually we are finding these capability gaps. Whenever there is a capability, you may not be able to deliver that products or services. For any products or services, you need a set of capabilities in terms of people, process, or systems. That's what we need to understand, right? So this is the way, as a business analyst, this is the way we need to look at the organization. So though the management gurus said organization is a group of people working towards a common goal, they have told in terms of organization behavior, right? They have told in terms of organization behavior. But our view is the business analyst view. Here we are saying organization is an amalgamation of capabilities, and it is a combination of people capabilities, process capabilities, and system capabilities, right? And these three capabilities, they need to be work like an orchestra, right? You know, in orchestra, when you are seeing this, when you are visiting this musical events, not everybody can play their own notes, right? Everybody has to be in tune. So that is the reason we are saying this is like a symphony, right? All this, like, people capability should match with the process capability, and the process capability should match with system capability, and vice versa, right? All these three capabilities should be in sync. I have a wonderful machinery, but the person I'm having doesn't know how to operate this. So here people capability and process capability or system capability is not in sync. In most of the organization, we find problems because of this. The reason is the capabilities are not in sync, and that's what the business analyst does, right? So when we kind of like visualize this using a business model canvas, it is much easier to do this, right? Fine. So now you know what is a capability. Again, capability is an ability to do certain tasks, and where we differentiated the capacity is quantification of this capability, right? Capability is an ability to do the task, and capacity is the quantification of such capability. How much? Say like I'm an individual, one-person company, right? This is one-person company is possible, right? You can say LLP, right? You can form a one-person company in India or any other parts of the world, right? Most of the companies, most of the countries permit this. So say I am a one-person company, and I have the capability of developing mobile apps in iOS, right? So I will say I have a capability. On the other hand, Infosys also says that we have a capability of developing iOS. So though myself and Infosys claims that we both are having the same capability, but Infosys capacity is different, right? They can roll out some maybe 1,000 iOS apps in a month, but I may be able to do only one. So what makes the difference between a small organization and a large organization is the capacity. In fact, capability also kind of like it will be on different scale. So just for our example, so capability means ability to do certain things. Capacity is quantification of that capability. And now we also need to understand process. Say, a process can be defined as a set of sequential activities carried out in a predetermined order to deliver value to the customer. Those values are in terms of products and services, right? So why do we have a process? A process means it should deliver a value. You will not have any process within your organization that doesn't add any value. So that kind of processes in terms of lean process improvement, we say these are all non-value added processes and activities. Those things we need to remove to make our organization more efficient, right? So now when you understand this process, how do we classify this process? A process can be kind of like divided into primary, secondary, and management processes, right? Primary processes are those that are helping the organization to achieve the mission, to deliver the products and services. That is the core, that is the very purpose that the organization is in existence. That is the mission of the organization, right? So primary processes are those, that is the very purpose of the organization, mission of the organization. That is through which they make money, through by serving the product, by selling the products and services. But on the other hand, the secondary processes are those that are supporting the primary process. Right? That is the reason we have primary at the right end, secondary next, and management the next. Kind of like because primary is supported by the secondary process. Secondary processes are those that are supporting the primary process to excel, to make it more effective and efficient, right? And the thing is like the secondary process and the primary processes are governed by the management process. The governing and controlling and monitoring of this primary and secondary process are carried out by the management process. So if you take any organization, it need to have a finite amount of processes. So when you are working on a business model canvas, you need to identify that what are all the processes required. It should be finite. That means nothing, there is nothing called +1 or -1. If it is 57, that is 57, that's it. Okay, if 57 processes are required to make this organization a viable one, to make this organization a operational one, it is required, that's it, right? So when we say a process, it is a set of sequential activities carried out in a predetermined order to deliver value to the customers in terms of products and services, right? Now let us go ahead with this business model canvas. So we will be discussing about the business model canvas for the next 10 minutes, and then we will take questions. Okay. So here with this understanding, now let us visualize this business model canvas. This business model canvas have 9 elements, 9 components. You can say 9 components. You are seeing these 9 components: key partners, key activities, key resources, value propositions. Then customer relationships, customer segments, channels. Then at the bottom you are seeing cost structure, revenue structure. Okay, so now let us start with this. I have few questions on the panel, but I will be taking during the Q&A session, right? Not to without interruption. So that is the reason. Like this is a flow, right? So now the thing is like, why you are doing this business? Why do you want to do this business? Because you want to have certain revenue and you want to kind of like limit this at a particular cost structure so that you will make a profit. Is there like anybody want to do a business for charity? No, right? The thing is like ultimate aim of your business is one is passion and another like the bottom line. If the passion has to be, if you want to sustain this passion, it should make profit, right? You cannot make a business on losses forever. So to make the business sustainable, it should earn profit. Okay, so the profit is the difference between your revenue streams and the cost structure. So that is the very purpose you are doing the business. So why do you want to do the business? Why do your business kind of like should be created? So there is a profit motive. So why is answered by this revenue and cost structure. Okay, then for whom you are doing, when you are doing, where you are doing, what you are doing, right? And kind of like where you are doing, right? All these questions, there is answered by this kind of like other 7 elements. So here you can divide this into 3 groups. The key partners, key activities, key resources are how you are doing, what you are doing, right? When you are doing, where you are doing, for whom you are doing, it is the other four parts: value propositions, customer relationships, channels, customer segments, right? So now you are having, like, you can visually divide this into three major blocks. One block is the key block. The key block is what you are going to do, how you are going to do. Key partners, key activities, key resources. That will answer the what and how of it. Why you are doing, that is the cost structure and revenue structure. For whom, when, where, that is given by value propositions, customer relationship, customer segments, and channels, right? You are able to visualize this. Now, from where we will start. For any business, you see, there are two ways to do a business, or any business comes into existence. One is you come out with a wonderful product out of your passion. Many a time the inventors are like this. They come out with a product and then they find out whose problem it solves. And this is one method. The second method is I will find out what is the problem in the market, and then I will try to create a products or services that will effectively and efficiently solve this problem. This is the second method. The first method is known as inventor's approach. The second method is called entrepreneur's approach. For example, Swiggy in India or Uber Eats, that is based on a customer problem. They really understood what is the problem in the market, and they identified the problem, and to serve that problem they created a product or service, right? That is the entrepreneur's approach. Those approaches, like entrepreneur's approach, is the most preferred one compared to the inventor's approach, right? Inventor's approach is basically like kind of like, it is basically a scientist or a researcher come out with a product, then he finds out like then he tries to find out whose problem it solves, right? So that is not a very popular method, okay, and it is very costly, time consuming method. But on the other hand, the entrepreneur's method is very good, and the business model is very helpful in this area. The thing is, like, first you need to know who is your customer. So whenever you want to do a business, whenever you want to start a business, you need to ask the question, who is my customer? What are their problems? And so here when we say customer segment means you are kind of like drawing a small circle within your customers and say these people are kind of like having a very specific need. Okay, very specific need. And the thing is, like, you have to really identify it. Who is my customer? You have to really pinpoint. You cannot say like all the people who will buy the product. There is no product in the world that everybody want to buy, right? No product in the world that everybody want to buy. The thing is, like, but you need to have a percentage. Say 5%, 10% of the population is going to buy. That makes a business sense, right? So it's a kind of, because each one has their different aspirations, different needs, different levels of purchasing capacity, their per capita income, and kind of like the nature of problem itself differs from people to people, right? So the customer segment has to be clear. The customer segment is, you are drawing a small circle within the population and say that these people are having some sort of homogeneity in terms of problems. Homogeneity means they are sharing a common problem. Everybody is having a problem, because you cannot create a product for one person. In the whole world, only one person will buy a product. For example, some of the rarest of the rare diseases doesn't have a vaccine, right? Doesn't have a vaccine. But on the other hand, for COVID, all the companies are rushing to create the first vaccine. The reason is there is a market. So the thing is, like, when I say customer segment, you will not come out with a product, you will not develop a product for only one person in the whole world who is having that problem. No company will do this, because it doesn't make a business sense. On the other hand, you want a kind of like a customer segment, okay, which is reasonably in a larger size, where they have kind of like common problems, and for that you will kind of like create a product. So the kind of like you have to create a business sense from the customer segment. So based on this, you have to make your customer segment larger or smaller to better address them. And also at the same time, it kind of like it should deliver certain kind of like it should there should be a demand for certain quantities so that your business is sustainable. So we start with the customer segment. So when we say customer segment, you know what is their problem, whether they are willing to pay for this product, and kind of like how many times, how frequently they will buy this product. All those questions you will be answering. Then customer relationships, how you are going to kind of like interact with them, how you are going to kind of like retain them, how you are going to make them buy it again and again, right? Customer relationship part. Okay. And then channels. The channel means, the thing is like, you see, marketing, sales, and kind of like services, right? The three things. One is, in case of marketing, how you will reach these people, through which channel you will reach them. Here channel means, you should take it as a broad way, right? It is a kind of like when I say channel here, like which route, okay, what method you are going to deploy to reach this customer. The thing is like, marketing is the function of letting the people know that I have a very good product, right? You have to create awareness about the product to the people. So that is a marketing function, right? Marketing, the function of marketing is to let the people know that whether kind of like what is the product you have, how it solves, kind of like where they can get it, all those things you have to market to them. So now you made the people aware. Now you have to enable them to kind of like taste this product. So many companies do these promotions, they give freebies, they will create awareness about this product, they will have a demo, they will participate in exhibitions, right? So it's a kind of like they give you a taste about this product to the people, kind of like involve them, right? So then the next thing is, you need to create the leads. Now people understood that there is a product and it will solve my problem. So now they are asking for, so now sales is pitching is like, what are all your sales channels? Are you going to do the direct to customer marketing, or you are going to open a store, or you are going to kind of like having your own e-commerce platform, or you are going to have channel partners who will do this as a separate business, but representing you, they will be doing this. So what are all the channels? So in marketing, sales, okay, how kind of like you are going to have the channels, and how you are going to address the people's problem, that is customers problem afterwards. For example, reverse logistics, the product delivered is having some problems, how they will get it addressed. So there could be a channel. Okay, this is typically the reverse logistics or the reverse supply chain, right? So what is how you are going to structure this channel, and how this product will be distributed to them. The moment they kind of like they place a order, how you are going to distribute this. So all those things. Then value propositions, what the customer value, the value proposition is at the center of this, right? Everything is around this. This is offering a good product. See, two things are very important in business, right? One is, you need to offer a very good product, and you should also do very good marketing, right? Both are equally important, right? So when you say value proposition, it is about the product. So basically, you need to understand the requirements of the customers, and how best you tailor those requirements into the value proposition. What is the package you are offering, right? Then the next three things are how we are kind of like going to do this. The key activities. What are all so the key activities are the processes. What are all the processes that are very important to you? Key processes. Okay. And here, like when I come out with a business model, say kind of like when I say a business model, I may be having kind of like say 57 processes I identify, and those processes are the key activities. And what resources are required to kind of like to do this process. Okay, the thing is like, you cannot like, for example, if you want to make a coffee, you need several resources. Okay, first, like, like you may have the process in hand, the process, but kind of like you need certain resources. That is, you need coffee powder, milk, sugar, and you need cup and saucers, you need a teaspoon, you need a gas stove, okay, for heating. All these things are required, minimal, right? These are all the minimal things you require. These are all the resources. So here like we have people and system capabilities, right? And in addition to that, material money, men, machine, material money, all these things are required. That forms the key resources. And then when we say key partners, not all the resources you may have. There is no company in the world that can stand alone, right? They're kind of like, you cannot find a company that makes something end to end. Very, very rare to see, except like when Ford created the Ford created the factory in 1908 and he rolled out the Model T car, right? The Model T, okay, the most successful first model and the mass produced model. So the thing is like in case of Henry Ford, he was doing most of the things on his own. That is like he was creating right from mining until all the way showrooms. He was managing the whole thing. The reason is that the ecosystem doesn't exist, but that is not the case today. Today, the ecosystem is plenty available. The same Ford today, kind of like it is more or less like an assembly factory, and the components are supplied by their tier one, tier two, and so on suppliers, right? So when we say key partners, the thing is like not all the capabilities. So you will keep the core capabilities within the organization that is coming under the key resources, but other capabilities you may rely on certain partners. So those are all the key partners. So with this understanding, let us summarize. So what we said is we have these three major parts: key partners, key activities, key resources. That is how and what you are going to do, or what you are going to do and how you are going to do. And the value proposition, customer relationship, customer segment channels are whom you are offering, right? For whom you are offering, when you are offering, where you are offering, right? So those aspects we are discussing here. And why the whole thing, that is the foundation of the whole thing, right? Profit is the foundation of for existence of a business, okay? Or if a business continue to exist, it should make a profit. It should be sustainable manner, right? So that is given by the cost structure and the revenue streams. So the cost structure means how this will cost to make these things and how I will make money out of this. Okay, so revenue minus cost is your profit margin, right? And the thing is like, now think about this complexity of this. So assume that in each area, customer segment, there is 5 segments, 5 channels are there, 5 customer relationship. Everything is like some 5 different methods are there, right? So when you have 5 different methods, I'm just asking you to visualize. Assume that in each methods, each elements, 5 different methods of doing is there. 5 is very minimal, I'm saying. There are kind of like n numbers. Nobody knows, in fact. You based on the past and present, you can say that this many number of numbers are there in each of these elements. But literally, we don't know kind of like how many is going to come. Okay, but even like how many past and present is there in this individual elements, we don't know. Okay, nobody has done a good exercise on this. And now, what will be the combination? The combination is 5 to the power 9. Just a moment. The number of combination available is 5 to the power 9, which is equal to almost 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs, right? So it's a kind of like or 2 million 2 million possibilities you have. So the thing is like 20 lakh or 2 million possibilities. So that is the complexity, right? And I'm just assuming only 5 is there in each of these elements. 5 way of doing the things. No, there are already n numbers. So it is almost the combination is infinite. That is the thing that makes this business model canvas more interesting. You think more and more, you will get better and better. So like whenever a business owner or an entrepreneur, they want to improve or create a new business, you need to spend a good amount of time on the business model canvas so that you can really kind of like you can really tailor this for the current situation, but it is not static. So your business model is not static. For example, the kind of like say why Nokia went out of business or why Motorola is not popular, why the fast track in Indian market is no longer popular compared to Ola and Uber. The reason is, the thing is like they didn't cope up with their business model. A company, the kind of like the top management of the business, their job is you need to constantly check. The thing is like kind of like see how do we manage our health? Every day you have to maintain the health, right? It is not like once in a while activity. right? Every day you have to do exercise, every day you have to take the food, every day you will be kind of like take certain vitamins, everybody you monitor whether my health is in good condition, right? So that is the way we as a human being we maintain our health. The same way the organization also has to go through this. So you have to continuously assess whether your business model is relevant to the market. Your customer segment is changing their expectations, and if you still offer the same value proposition, your product will fall through the crack, right? So it's a kind of like we need to constantly reimagine, reinvent, or improve our business model, and that is very helpful to the organization to be sustainable and to grow in the market. So with this I conclude this, and kind of like we have a upcoming master series. Physics master series is like it contains a lot of executive development programs, and one of the program we are going to come with is mastering business model canvas. This is going to happen next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, following Sunday, I would say, like next Sunday or following Sunday. Okay, that is on May 10th. Okay, it is an online course for 4 hours. It will be delivered in 2 sessions on the same day, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. first session, and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. the second session. The fee is rupees 2,500 plus GST. The international participants, you can convert this into your respective amount. It is the same thing. And to learn more about this, you can contact our manager certifications. The number and the mail is given, and you can download this presentation from the handout section. It is available as a PDF. You can download this for your future reference. And anybody interested, please reach out to our manager certifications. And here, like we will discuss with some of the questions, and you can also, like, we have a LinkedIn group titled FIBAR. You go to the LinkedIn and type FIBAR, search as a group. You will find our LinkedIn group. This is Physics Institute for Business Analysis and Research. And our next session on next Tuesday at 11 a.m. IST is strategic business plan. Okay, so business model, business plan, they are connected. So we'll be talking about how a company can come out with a strategic business plan, right? So now let me take few questions. I know there are like several questions, but I will take kind of like I will take few questions. Okay, so now the thing is, like the participant is asking a question about this business model canvas. So it's a kind of like about this course. This course is like an online course, 4 hours, where we will be talking about case studies. Then we will be talking about some 25 business models which is in existence, and we will take 2 models and we will develop this from scratch. Okay, the thing is, like, we will take 2 models, something like which doesn't exist in the market. We will come out with our own ideas. We will kind of like do it from scratch, and we will develop in a holistic manner. Okay, and the next question is like how a business analyst can use the business model. So for kind of like at a junior level, a business analyst may not be coming across a business model canvas, but as you grow, when you are kind of like when you are becoming a senior business analyst or a lead business analyst, I would say, kind of like whenever a company asks you to improve a particular business process, or a business itself, or a particular division itself, then of course you need to take the business model canvas, without which your job is not complete. Okay, so there are several questions, and you will kind of like, you can visit our blog to find answers for these questions. And I thank you, like, because we are running out of time, I thank you all the participants. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And here, just to take this couple of questions or polls. How do you rate this topic? I am launching this. Please vote your response. How do you rate this topic? Yeah, please rate. It will be helpful to us, whether you love this topic or not. Okay, so it will helpful to us. Okay, fine. I'm closing this. And then the next thing I'm taking is, how would you rate the speaker? Okay, I'm launching this. How would you rate the speaker? Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm closing this. And we will continue next week in yet another topic, that is strategic business plan. Thank you. Bye for now.